So you've probably heard me talk about parts before, and I get this language from a theory called internal family systems, and it's a way of um, considering every urge, every behavior, every sensation, every aspect of our personality as um, parts of us that have different roles to play in keeping us safe. And that is the bottom line, keeping us safe. And these different parts get developed anytime that there is a threat to our safety. So it's a really nice way of working with polyvagal theory or with the nervous system work, because the nervous system is in charge of detecting threats and being able to tell if we're safe or we're in danger. So every time throughout our life, we start this life as a little baby, and we have a lot of safety at the beginning. Not all of us are totally safe. Maybe there's some mystical unicorn that was born in complete safety, but we bring with us threats from our personal ancestry, from our collective culture, from the time when our parent was pregnant. So we already come in with some protectors, some parts that don't feel safe, but we have a lot that do feel safe at the beginning. And with each little experience of threat, those parts often have to switch gears and switch off from what their natural interest or experience or personality trait might be, in order to change into a protector. And that's how we, hold on, little car. That's how we go from being the safe parts are connected to our whole self, and then they break off. A piece breaks off and becomes a protector, and a piece breaks off and becomes an exile. So there's something to protect, and there's someone protecting. So a very simple example of this might be, let's say I'm a little, 2-year-old, and I make an exuberant, here comes this car again, one second. Okay, so I'm a little 2-year-old, and I make this exuberant squeal. Maybe I see something that makes me feel so happy, or I have a feeling that makes me so happy, and I let out this big squeal. And an adult says, shh, with a real angry expression on their face, okay? Now, probably what's going to happen is I'm going to put that little part that loves to squeal, lock them up, and tell them, you're not allowed to do that. That made your parent unhappy or your caregiver unhappy. And I'm going to create a part that keeps them locked up, that is going to be the one who says, don't squeal. It's bad to squeal, right? So the opportunity as we do parts work is not to get rid of the protector. It's to connect with the protector who's saying don't squeal, and to explore with them if it's still as dangerous as it was, or if they might be willing to let out that little 2-year-old who liked to squeal. And they were created to do that job of keeping the little 2-year-old from squealing, right? So they were asked to do this hard job, and kind of, it's a bummer for them, right? Because all they get to do is just tell the 2-year-old not to squeal all day. So they may be resentful and worn out and tired, and we're not going to just fire them and tell them to go away. We are going to invite them, what other kind of thing would you like to do? And they might say, I don't know, maybe it sounds fun to learn how to sing. Or maybe it sounds fun to, have a story read to them. or it could be any million trillion things, right? So we're never saying to the protectors, which our protectors in grown-up life are often, something as sort of, maybe mild as don't scream or make loud sounds, all the way to a suicidal part, a, getting drunk part, a getting high part, a stealing things part, a, disassociate by working really hard part. We get to go through a little construction zone here. So these parts can be extreme, they can be mild, right? And these protectors, they want to do something. They've been so committed to us for many years, many decades, most of them. And they're hard workers, and they really deserve a lot of credit for all that they've done, because we've probably been talking bad about them forever, trying to get rid of them forever. So they are often really, worried that we're going to get rid of them, and they're adamant that they know what's best because they've kept us alive or kept our caregivers happy, bosses, partners, etc. So what we can offer them is what sounds fun to you. And you can even either offer this thing in real life, or you can offer it in your imagination. They don't seem to really get too worried about whether it's in the 3D or not. So let's say this part has been keeping you quiet, and you're able to get to know them and talk to them about how you're now allowed to make any sounds that you want because your caregivers are no longer there. And I have a part that's like, don't make funny sounds. And I know that when I'm alone, there's no consequences to that. So I get to just do that whenever I want. I take my walk and I make all sorts of funny sounds, and it feels really good. And that part that used to keep me from making those funny sounds, now I get to see what they want to do. So I have a nice, beautiful, kind of like a big house property that all my parts can hang out at. And they're always adding to it and making little changes. There's a beautiful tree house that's decked out. It has like a Slurpee machine. It has a soda machine. It has a revolving pizza. Like there's always hot pizza there. There's all sorts of fun cushions and beds and hammocks and twinkle lights and all my favorite shows, and lots and lots of angels who can help out with anything, and older parts and games and toys. It's just, it's pretty fantastic there. So they all can go do whatever they want anytime. This sort of open invitation, and they all know that. And then, sometimes they'll ask for something different, and I'll be like, okay, great. So, I have a 3-year-old part that was really stuck on lollipops for a while, so I was keeping lollipops in the house, even though I don't care right now for lollipops. There was a part that wanted a Play-Doh set at one point, so I went and actually got a Play-Doh set. Recently, there was a part that wanted clay stuff, so I got a whole clay making kit. And again, you can do this in 3D or in imagination, so it doesn't matter if you don't have any money. Just imagine it with them and let them play with it whenever they want. And that way we're not getting rid of them, and we're giving them something fun to do. And in tense moments or in hard moments, let's say I'm in a public place and somebody gives me a dirty look when I make a sound, that protector is still there. They might be playing Play-Doh, but they might be like, oh my gosh, we just did it. We have to go back and, go back to this rule of not making sounds in public. And they might come up for a little bit, and then I can be like, oh, I know what happened. I'm so sorry that person looked funny at you. I understand why you came back up. Thank you for caring about me and for always being here for me. And then I'll go through the process again. That person isn't a regular part of our life, or if they are, hey, how did it feel to be in that environment? how can I support you in making sure if we are continuing in that environment that you have time to make any of those funny noises that you want, And it may seem like a small example, but any time that we're shutting down part of our essential self, it's a big deal to all of our parts. We're meant to be at peace, and a big part of that is that we're meant to, celebrate all of who we are and not hide it. And this society that asks us to hide so much can really, it's exhausting. Shame is the most exhausting thing. And whenever we're hiding something, it feels like shame to our system. So anyways, just a little, another moment to connect with what is a part, how can we interact with it, how can we take really good care of and understand and learn about our parts so that they can be freed up to not have to do so much of the protection, and that they can have a chance to do some things that might sound fun to them. Okay, lots of love.